Hey guys, welcome to the much anticipated return of Callous Fight Night. I didn't check the date pre-video as to when the last one was, but it's been many months. I feel like this ended mid to late last year. It's been a while, but we're back with season 2 and we are starting fresh. So these are two, I guess, challengers, if you will. Neither one is a proper champion at the moment. We had a bunch of people volunteer to be in this, which I appreciate, and these are the two that you guys voted for in order to play this game. So Zom and UD, a grudge match, if you will. These two had some beef, and they resolved it, if you will, in SPL, in which Zomog, with some luck, did come out on top. And here's UD looking for some revenge. So far, it is pretty fast paced in this game. We've got the Jinx, and the T-Tower lead ends up in a trade via Dugtrio. Now we have Gyarados staring down Selby. Eats a 45% Psychic and a relevant Specs drop, unfortunately. Would have survived another Psychic if not for that drop. Now, if he stays in, he's forced to attack. Of course, Selby, should it kill the Gyarados, will also just get revenge killed by the Dugtrio. We'll see if it plays out in that way. Ooh, it's Hidden Power Rock, actually, not HP Flying. HP Flying there would have nailed the Flygon, so I don't... I'm kind of surprised that Zom didn't have something better to do with the Gyarados than the Flygon. If that's HP Flying, I think that the Flygon would have probably gotten 2-hit KO'd. Maybe it's bulky since it is Protect, and maybe it survives, but it gets a little dicey. But the fact that it's HP Rock, he doesn't care about that at all. Even at +1, he took 15%. And now we're just back to this. So they both switched out. Neither one happy with the matchup. Gengar to Dougie here. It's going to survive Psychic 81%. But Celebi should be very dead here, assuming there is in fact HP Bug, which basically every Dugtrio has. That was HP Bug. Celebi's down. UD with the lead now. Fairly quick game. 13 turns in with multiple knockouts. And wow, has to do a check. UD has to actually check what Dragon Breath actually does and what the odds are of paralysis, which, as we see on the screen, is 30%, just like Body Slam. We've got a quick 4-4. This might be a quick fight night here. I like these to be a little longer generally, especially when this is the epic return of the series, but thus far, not looking like this is going to be a super grindy game. They both brought what looks to be pretty offensive teams. There are unreveals on both sides, 2 for UD, 1 for Zom. We have Moltres coming in on Will-O-Wisp being revealed for the first time, but Gengar can get him here with the Outspeed and the Thunderbolt. Of course, Moltres will survive Thunderbolt and can do something like a Fire Blast or an Overheat back, which could very well kill the Gengar, so this is not as straightforward as it may appear. Keep in mind that the Gyarados from UD did have to eat that Psychic before. It's down to 55%. Most other things are healthy. Dugtrio's not for Zom, but that really truly doesn't matter unless UD has a Breloom with Mach Punch in the back. Otherwise, Dugtrio's health is basically irrelevant. It does what it does, and then it gets out of the way. And it's UD taking the time here. As you guys know, you may remember from previous Fight Night matches, this is being narrated live, so I don't know what's going to happen any better than you guys do, and whatever time the guys take, they take. I personally really like narrating live Pokemon matches. I personally prefer it over doing replays, but there's pros and cons both ways. Here's the Gyra switch, and Moltres shows Flamethrower. Now, just because it has that does not mean that it doesn't have Overheat. There are Moltres that carry both. It's going to have Will-O-Wisp, Hidden Power, and now we know Flamethrower, but it very well still might have Overheat in the back. Now, a critical hit landed there, which is going to enable the Gyarados to just go down, and now UD is going to go back to the previous matchup that he switched out of and didn't like before. Moltres evidently does not have Overheat, so it could be something like last move Roar, last move Sub, last move Protect, last move Sunny Day, and he gets out of the way after the Thunderbolt Flamethrower exchange, which did remarkably comparable damage, 62 and 61% respectively. Fori switching in for UD. I did not think this was a Spikes team. It looked very offensive. Fori almost feels out of place here, but nevertheless, that's what UD's got, and he's going to get a layer down. So he does have the spikes advantage. We know that Zom doesn't have a spinner, but Zom just flat out has the Pokemon advantage by quite a bit at this point. He's got himself a 4-2 lead with UD on the ropes, but he does have an unrevealed in the back, and he gets revenge here with Gengar, bringing us to a 3-2, still with UD in the lead. Here's Meta, and last poke Steelix from UD. What a weird team he's busted out here. Will that get the job done? Shiny Steelix at that. There's Flygon. That is going to, of course, not take anything from Earthquake with the Levitate ability. Dragon Breath, pathetic damage, but he's fishing for power, doesn't get it. Toxic there landing on Flygon is devastating. He has no way to remove that. And now UD is going to begin his Toxic stalling. He's going to go for Protect here. Not only gaining lefties, but racking up the residual damage on the Flygon. Gengar now switches in on the Earthquake. UD outmaneuvering Zom here as the Flygon begins to suffer with the poison. UD poised to make this comeback, it looks like. There's the Ice Punch knockout. Now it's Metagross staring down Gengar. Even with Fire Punch, a non-critical hit from Gengar would not kill here. Of course, he has to be careful about switching his Steelix into an Earthquake here. So this is a mind game turn. I think UD is generally in a decent place here. What he doesn't want to happen is he doesn't want the Gengar to die and then Meta outspeeds and blows up on Steelix, and then Dugtrio follows up and maybe kills the Steelix. Now that gets even more complicated because we know the Steelix has Protect. Obviously, if it protects on the boom turn, that's really bad. So this is actually pretty messy. Zom is going to double back here. That's devastating. He doubles back to Dougie, and it gets hit with Will-O-Wisp. UD taking the safe middle ground play. Of course, there is the 25% chance that it doesn't connect, but Will-O-Wisp does cooperate this time, and that's probably going to win him the game. It looks very difficult now for Zom. Not impossible by any means, especially when we don't know the full Metagross set. And obviously with attack raises, like for example, Gengar just Will-O-Wisp him again, misses, and then Meta gets him with Meteor Mash, gets an attack raise, and then EQ crits the Steelix or something like that. There are definitely sequences like that where Zom can still win this, but it looks very heavily in UD's favor in this late game now. It's going to be difficult, I think, for Zom to pull this out. Not impossible, but hard. Definitely looking like UD is going to be our first Fight Night champion in Season 2. But it's UD again taking the time, not wanting to throw this. He knows he's outsped here by the Dugtrio, so his Gengar is in danger here. A Rock Slide or maybe even an Aerial Ace when combined with the Sand would be good enough, but Zom unfortunately is going to over-predict here. He's going to go for the Earthquake, hoping Steelix will come in, but it does not, and UD stands his ground and goes Ice Punch. Now there's Explosion into Metagross. Steelix comes down now. Meta does have lefties, and that's relevant. There's an Earthquake, gets a crit, but it's not enough. But there's an Earthquake back, and it's not enough. So Zomog has this one-time window in which he's going to need a second crit in a row to win. He has the one opportunity to find it. He doesn't find it, and UD's Steelix, the last man standing at just 17%, it's going to be good enough. UD is going to pull this one back. It looked like he was pretty behind for a while. In fact, he was down 2-4, but he manages to pull it out, and he's going to be our Season 2, at least for the meantime. He's going to be our first CALLOUS Fight Night Season 2 champion, and he's going to face a new challenger next week. Now, if you guys remember the quirk of Fight Night, the cool thing with Fight Night, UD's going to come back again, fight somebody else. He's our champ. But we're going to draw live on screen who exactly that opponent's going to be. And we have a pretty sizable, healthy pool here of people it could be. We had a lot of Fight Night volunteers, so very happy with the interest this has drawn. Let me just pull that up and see what exactly we have here. Oops, I forgot to remove UD and Zom from this list. I can certainly do that, but let me see how many other people we have here. Let's see, we had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people. So we're going to be drawing 1 through 14 here, and we're just going to do it once, just like before. Random number generator. All right, so the way I always do this, I start it with like some huge number, like that. Then we knock it down to 14, and then we just hit generate, and whatever it is, it is. Going to draw it once. It's not, 3 times and you go. It's just whatever it is the first time. That's going to be his opponent. Generate, is number 2, and that is going to be Nolorium. Very interesting. I honestly have not seen him play a whole heck of a lot of ADV. No idea what to expect. He's someone I associate as a black-white guy, but he wins the draw. It is going to be UD against Nolorium next week in CALLOUS Fight Night. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you then.